Good morning, Oliver. My first question is, what do you like about your work?
Hi, Tom. Sure. So there's a lot I like about my work. I firstly love the challenge. Working in the technology, communications, and content industry, it's something that's constantly changing. It's dynamic, and it's one of those things where if you're not constantly reading up and educating yourself and staying abreast of latest trends, you're going to go out of date very, very quickly. So yeah, it's a fast-paced space. Things are changing all the time. It's the nature of technology. So I like that pace and that kind of fast-moving, kinetic nature of our industry. I also love people, and really, at the heart of what we do, it's working with people and connecting with people. Sorry if you can hear my dog barking in the background there. But yeah, I think that's the main part that I really, really love.
Yeah.
I'm based here in Singapore, but we work across the region and across the world. But being able to connect with other cultures and see how other people work and being exposed to new ideas and ways of working is incredibly stimulating for me. And that's really, really what I love about it.
And how did you start out?
Oh goodness, definitely not in the clear-cut way that most people do to get in our industry. So I didn't study public relations or marketing or anything like that. I studied anthropology, which, if you don't know, is the study of humans and how they develop. So I think at my core, it was a kind of real interest in human beings and how people connect and engage. So I guess that kind of makes a bit of sense in how I ended up doing what I do. But yeah, that's my background. I worked in the charity sector for several years before moving into communications. So I worked at several education charities in London, and then miraculously came across a random opportunity to move to Asia. And at the time, I was a real yes man. I really wanted to take every opportunity that came my way by the horns. And so moved out here without a job and with relatively little experience, and then sort of worked my way up. Really, just sort of got a few kind of temporary gigs, and then moved into a permanent role, and then moved on, and then I think just sort of powered by this sort of wide-eyed cockiness and ambition to sort of grow and do my own thing, ended up setting up a business, and that's where I am now. So yeah, that's probably my story.
Excellent, excellent. And what advice would you give to someone looking to start out today?
Oh, it's really, really simple. I just say expose yourself to as much opportunity and ideas as you possibly can. Don't, based on my experience, I would say don't feel you need to follow a linear path. There really, I think there's a lot of emphasis nowadays on you want to get to this point, in 15, 20 years, therefore you need to work backwards and get there from here. Life changes and things will change all the time. So really, as long as you're exposing yourself to interesting people, to different ideas and experiences, you can't really go that far wrong. And I'd say saying yes to things. The worst thing you can do is be stagnant, and kind of being fearful of new experiences because they might feel alien or they might feel like something you're not comfortable doing. But I would say, looking back on the main major decisions that have led to where I am at the moment, it's all through probably being exposed to kind of things that weren't directly fitting with where I was at the time, but ultimately in the long run were extremely valuable to my development and to forging my path ahead. So yeah, say yes and challenge yourself to new experiences would be my advice.